Discomfort is not an enemy. It is not a mistake. It is not a sign that something has gone wrong. Discomfort is a signal, a warning light flashing in the depths of your mind, telling you that the life you are living no longer fits. It is the friction between who you are and who you are meant to become. And if you ignore it, if you numb it, if you run from it, you do so at your own peril. Because discomfort does not disappear, it grows, it festers, it turns into anxiety, bitterness, even despair, and eventually it will force you to change, whether you are ready or not. At first, discomfort whispers. It starts as a vague unease, a feeling that something is off. You might wake up in the morning and feel a strange resistance to your own life. The job you once tolerated now drains you in ways it never did before. Conversations with certain people leave you exhausted instead of fulfilled. The habits that used to bring comfort, binge watching television, scrolling through your phone, indulging in distractions, now feel empty, hollow. You begin to sense that something is missing, even if you can't yet name it. And this is where most people make their first mistake. They dismiss the discomfort as a passing phase, a bad mood, something to be ignored until it goes away. But it doesn't go away. It deepens. The longer you ignore it, the more discomfort demands your attention. Your mind starts pushing back against your daily routines. You wake up tired, even when you've had enough sleep. The work you once tolerated becomes unbearable. You start feeling restless in situations that once felt normal. You look around and realize that the life you are living is one you would never consciously choose if you were starting fresh. The discomfort is no longer a whisper. It is a constant in the background of your thoughts, growing louder each day. And then, if you still refuse to listen, discomfort turns into suffering. At this stage, life begins to feel intolerable. The job, the relationship, the city, the habits, whatever it is that no longer fits, begins to actively harm you. You might feel trapped, anxious, even resentful. You might start lashing out at people around you, even if they haven't done anything wrong. You might feel an overwhelming urge to escape, to walk away, to burn everything down just to feel something different. And this is the turning point. At this moment, you have two choices. Acknowledge the discomfort and use it as a catalyst for change, or suppress it and let it turn into something worse. Because here's the truth. Discomfort is not the real problem. It is only a symptom. The real problem is that something in your life needs to change, and your mind and body are desperately trying to alert you to that fact. Discomfort is the beginning of transformation, but only if you listen. Most people don't. Most people do everything they can to avoid discomfort. They distract themselves with entertainment, with work, with unhealthy habits. They convince themselves that they should be grateful for what they have, that it's selfish to want something more. They tell themselves that change is too risky, too difficult, too uncertain, and so they stay. They settle. They push the discomfort down until it becomes a permanent underlying sadness that never quite leaves. But the ones who listen, the ones who recognize discomfort for what it is, those are the ones who transform. They understand that discomfort is a signal, a wake-up call. Instead of ignoring it, they lean into it. They ask themselves hard questions. Why do I feel this way? What is my discomfort trying to tell me? What needs to change? And then, most importantly, they act. Taking action does not mean making reckless decisions. It does not mean quitting your job overnight or abandoning everything familiar just because you feel restless. It means listening, truly listening to what your discomfort is revealing. It means acknowledging the areas of your life that are no longer in alignment with who you are becoming. It means having the courage to make changes, even small ones, that move you closer to a life that feels authentic. Sometimes this means leaving a job that no longer serves you. Sometimes it means stepping away from relationships that drain you. Sometimes it means changing the way you think, the way you speak to yourself, the way you show up in the world. And sometimes it simply means admitting that you don't have all the answers yet, but that you are willing to search for them. Discomfort is not your enemy. It is not something to fear. It is a sign that you are outgrowing the life you once fit into. And that is not a bad thing. That is evolution. That is progress. That is the first step toward something better. So, when discomfort arises, don't run from it. Don't numb it. Don't ignore it. Listen to it. Learn from it. And then have the courage to act. Because discomfort is not there to punish you, it is there to wake you up. Uncertainty is one of the most uncomfortable experiences a person can face. The human mind craves stability, predictability, and control. It wants to know what's coming next, what to expect, and how to prepare for it. But when life is about to change, when real transformation is on the horizon, certainty disappears. The structures you relied on begin to crack, the plans you made no longer make sense, and the direction that once seemed clear suddenly dissolves into fog. This is not a mistake. It is the nature of change, and while it may feel unsettling, it is also necessary. Before any significant transformation, life enters a stage of uncertainty. It happens when you begin questioning your career, your relationships, your beliefs, or even your own identity. The things that once felt solid no longer provide the same sense of security. You may find yourself doubting decisions you once felt sure of, wondering if the path you've been walking is actually leading somewhere meaningful. This uncertainty can manifest as restlessness, frustration, or even fear. It is the mind's way of recognizing that the life you are living is no longer in perfect alignment with who you are becoming. Most people experience this uncertainty and assume something is wrong. They believe they must have made a mistake, taken the wrong path, or failed in some way. But this is where they misunderstand the process of transformation. Uncertainty is not a sign of failure. It is a sign of growth. It means that the old framework that once guided your life is no longer sufficient. Your mind is expanding, your perspective is shifting, and your previous sense of certainty is being dismantled to make room for something new. This stage can be deeply unsettling because uncertainty removes the illusion of control. When you are certain about your future, even if it is not a future you truly want, there is a sense of stability in knowing what's next. But when certainty fades, so does that stability. You are left standing at a crossroads without a clear direction. This is why so many people resist change. They fear the unknown more than they dislike their current situation. They would rather stay in discomfort than take the risk of stepping into uncertainty. But avoiding uncertainty comes at a cost. It keeps you trapped in a cycle of stagnation, preventing you from moving forward. It convinces you to hold on to relationships that no longer serve you, to stay in jobs that drain your energy, and to live a life that feels safe but unfulfilling. The truth is, transformation is impossible without uncertainty. Every great change in life begins with a period of confusion, a time when the old way of thinking is breaking apart, but the new way has not yet fully emerged. During this phase, the most important thing you can do is trust the process. Rather than resisting uncertainty, embrace it as a necessary part of growth. Recognize that the discomfort you feel is not a punishment, but a sign that you are evolving. It means that you are stepping out of the known and into the realm of possibility. It means that you are in the space between who you were and who you are becoming. And while that space may feel disorienting, it is also where the most profound transformations take place. People who experience uncertainty often search for immediate answers, desperate to regain a sense of control. They want clear signs, definitive outcomes, and guarantees that everything will work out. But transformation does not work that way. It unfolds in its own time, and it requires a willingness to sit with the unknown. The answers you seek will not come all at once. They will emerge gradually, piece by piece, as you move forward. The mistake many people make is believing they need to have everything figured out before they take action. They wait for the perfect plan, the absolute certainty that they are making the right choice. But certainty does not come before action. It comes after. The only way to gain clarity is to move forward, despite the uncertainty, to take the first step, even when you don't know where the road will lead. Think about every major transformation in life, whether it is starting a new career, ending a relationship, moving to a new city, or pursuing a dream. Uncertainty always comes first. It is the bridge between the life you have and the life you want. And if you resist crossing that bridge, you remain stuck where you are. Isolation is an unavoidable part of transformation. When you are on the verge of change, when you are stepping away from an old version of yourself and moving towards something new, you will find that the people around you don't always come with you. The conversations that once felt fulfilling may start to feel shallow. The places you used to enjoy may no longer bring you the same sense of comfort. The friendships, relationships, and social circles that once defined your world may begin to feel distant, even when those people are still physically present. This is not a coincidence. It is a necessary part of the process. Growth creates separation. The moment you begin to change, you disrupt the equilibrium of the life you've been living. The people around you are used to a certain version of you, a version that aligns with their expectations, their beliefs, and their comfort. When you start to evolve, it challenges that stability. Some will encourage you, but others will resist, not because they wish you harm, but because your transformation forces them to confront something uncomfortable, the reality that they too have the power to change, but may not be ready to. This is why transformation can feel lonely. You are moving in a direction that others may not understand. You are questioning things they have never thought to question. You are stepping into uncertainty while they remain in the familiar. And as a result, you may feel an increasing sense of distance, even from the people you care about most. You may try to explain your changes, but they may not fully grasp what you are going through. You may crave deeper conversations, but find that those around you are still speaking the language of the past. At first, this isolation can feel like abandonment. It can feel as though the world is pulling away just as you are beginning to find yourself. But this solitude is not a punishment, it is an invitation. It is life's way of creating space for your transformation. When old relationships fade, it is often because they no longer align with where you are going. When familiar places feel foreign, it is because you are meant to explore something new. And when you feel as though no one understands you, it is because you are stepping into a version of yourself that has not yet been fully realized. In this space of isolation, something profound happens. Without the noise of external opinions, you begin to hear your own voice more clearly. Without the constant validation of others, you learn to trust yourself. Without the distraction of social obligations, you have the opportunity to reflect, to reassess, and to redefine what truly matters to you. This is where self-discovery happens, not in the crowd, but in the quiet moments of solitude, where you are forced to confront yourself. Many people fear this stage of isolation. They mistake it for loneliness, for failure, for something to be avoided at all costs, and so they cling to relationships that no longer serve them. They force themselves into social situations that drain them. They suppress their own growth for the sake of maintaining connections that were never meant to last forever. But in doing so, they only delay the inevitable. Because true transformation requires shedding what no longer fits. It requires a willingness to walk alone for a time, trusting that the right people and the right circumstances will appear when you are ready for them. Not everyone is meant to come with you on your journey. Some people are only meant to be part of your story for a chapter, not the entire book. And that is not a tragedy. It is simply the natural rhythm of life. The more you grow, the more you will attract people who align with who you are becoming rather than who you used to be. But that process cannot happen if you are unwilling to let go of what no longer belongs. The period of isolation will not last forever, but it is necessary. It is the space where transformation solidifies. It is where you learn to stand on your own, to define yourself outside of external influences, and to cultivate the kind of inner strength that no one can take from you. It is the space where you prepare for what comes next. So if you find yourself in this phase, if you feel as though you are walking alone on a path that no one else seems to understand, do not panic, do not retreat, do not rush back to the comfort of the familiar just because solitude feels uncomfortable. Instead, embrace it, use it, allow it to shape you. Because on the other side of this isolation is a version of yourself that is stronger, wiser, and more aligned with the life you are meant to live. And when you emerge from this period, you will find that the connections, opportunities, and experiences that come next are the ones that truly belong to you. Opportunities never arrive alone. They always bring challenges with them. The two are inseparable, like two sides of the same coin. Every time life presents an opportunity, whether it is a new job, a relationship, a creative endeavor, or a chance to pursue a dream, it also introduces difficulties, uncertainties, and obstacles. Many people expect opportunity to feel easy, to come wrapped in certainty and comfort, but in reality, true opportunities are always accompanied by tests that demand growth, resilience, and willingness to step into discomfort. This is why so many people hesitate when faced with opportunity. They see the potential, the possibility of something better, but they also see the effort required, the fear of failure, the struggle of adapting, and the uncertainty of stepping into the unknown can feel overwhelming. It is easy to convince yourself that an opportunity is not meant to be simply because it comes with challenges. But this is a misunderstanding of how growth works. Anything worth pursuing will require effort. Anything truly valuable will stretch you beyond your comfort zone. If an opportunity does not challenge you in some way, it is not an opportunity for transformation. It is simply a convenience. Challenges exist not to deter you, but to prepare you. They act as gatekeepers to ensure that you are ready for the opportunities you seek. If every door opened without resistance, there would be no growth, no development of skills, no strengthening of character. It is through the difficulties that you become the person capable of handling the success that lies on the other side. This is why so many people who achieve success too easily, whether through luck, inheritance, or shortcuts, often struggle to sustain it. They have not been forged by the necessary challenges that teach resilience, discipline, and adaptability. Consider any great achievement in history. The individuals who reached the heights of success did not do so without struggle. Entrepreneurs who built thriving businesses faced financial risks, failures, and moments of doubt. Artists who created masterpieces endured rejection, criticism, and years of unseen effort. Athletes who won championships spent countless hours in practice, pushing through pain, setbacks, and losses. The pattern is always the same. Opportunity and challenge arrive together, and only those who embrace both are able to move forward. The mistake many people make is assuming that challenges are signs to turn back. They believe that if something is difficult, it must mean they are on the wrong path. But more often than not, the very presence of struggle is an indication that they are on the verge of something significant. Resistance is a natural part of progress. The greater the opportunity, the greater the challenge required to reach it. This is where mindset becomes crucial. Instead of seeing obstacles as roadblocks, they must be seen as stepping stones. Each challenge is an opportunity to learn, to refine skills, to build resilience. When you shift your perspective in this way, struggle becomes a necessary part of the journey rather than something to avoid. You stop waiting for the perfect opportunity, one that comes without difficulty, and instead you recognize that the opportunity you seek is often hidden behind the challenges you fear. Another key aspect of this dynamic is how challenges reveal who is truly ready for an opportunity. Many people express a desire for success, change, or new beginnings, but when challenges arise, they shrink back into their comfort zones. They believe they want transformation, but they are unwilling to endure the discomfort that comes with it. The truth is, the willingness to face challenges is what separates those who merely wish for success from those who achieve it. The ones who persist through struggle, who adapt to setbacks, who refuse to quit when things become difficult, these are the people who ultimately seize opportunity and turn it into reality. This is not to say that every struggle leads to success or that every difficulty must be endured indefinitely. Some challenges are signs that a path is not right and discernment is necessary. But more often than not, people give up too soon. They turn away when faced with resistance, not realizing that they were only a few more steps away from a breakthrough. The ability to endure and push forward is what allows one to reach the rewards that others abandon too quickly. Perhaps the most important thing to remember is that the combination of opportunities and challenges is not unique to any one person. It is a universal law of growth. No matter who you are, no matter what you pursue, if you want to step into something greater, you will be tested. The question is not whether challenges will arise. The question is whether you will face them or retreat. Understanding this principle changes the way you approach life. Instead of hesitating when opportunities come with difficulties, you expect it. Instead of backing away from struggles, you lean into them, knowing that they are the price of progress. And instead of seeing challenges as barriers, you see them as the very thing that will shape you into the person capable of handling the success you desire. So, when opportunity comes knocking, do not turn away simply because it brings difficulty with it. Do not wait for an easy path because there isn't one. Recognize that the challenge is part of the opportunity. It is the process by which you grow, learn, and prove to yourself that you are ready for the next level. And once you accept this, you will no longer fear challenges. You will welcome them, knowing that on the other side lies the transformation you have been waiting for. Deep within you, beneath all the noise of society, expectations, and doubt, there is a voice that already knows the truth. This voice, your instinct, has been guiding you since the beginning, quietly pushing you toward what is right, warning you when something is wrong, and nudging you toward choices that align with who you truly are. Yet, despite its presence, most people struggle to trust it. They hesitate, they second-guess themselves, and they look to the outside world for validation instead of listening to the knowing that has always been within them. Your instincts are not random. They are the result of thousands of experiences, observations, and subconscious patterns your mind has been collecting for years. They are shaped by everything you have seen, felt, and learned, even the things you do not consciously remember. When something feels off, but you cannot explain why, it is not meaningless. It is your instincts recognizing a pattern before your rational mind can put it into words. When something excites you, but you do not fully understand why, it is your deeper self recognizing a path that aligns with your nature. The problem is not that instincts fail people. The problem is that people fail to trust their instincts. This happens because we are taught to prioritize logic, reason, and external approval over our inner knowing. From a young age, we are conditioned to look outside of ourselves for answers. We are told to follow rules, to listen to authority, and to rely on what is proven rather than what is felt. While logic and reason are important, they are not infallible. Many people have made logical choices that led them to misery, choosing a career that looks good on paper but feels empty, staying in relationships that make sense but lack real connection, or ignoring their passions because they do not seem practical. These decisions may seem right by conventional standards, but they go against something deeper, the natural intelligence of their own being. Your instincts already know when something is wrong for you. That uneasy feeling in your stomach when you are around certain people is not random. It is your body picking up on unspoken cues, warning you of something your mind has not yet identified. That excitement you feel when you consider a new opportunity is not meaningless. It is your intuition recognizing potential before logic can justify it. The frustration you feel when stuck in a situation that does not align with you is not something to ignore. It is a sign that your instincts are urging you to move, to change, to step into something greater. But instead of listening, most people silence their instincts with doubt and overthinking. They analyze every decision to the point of paralysis. They ask others for advice, hoping for certainty, even when they already know what they should do. They ignore their feelings, convincing themselves that they are being irrational, and in doing so, they disconnect from their own wisdom. The truth is, trusting your instincts does not mean acting recklessly or ignoring logic altogether. It means recognizing that your deeper self often knows things before your conscious mind does. It means paying attention to what your body and emotions are telling you, even when you cannot immediately explain why. It means understanding that just because something makes sense on paper does not mean it is right for you. The most successful and fulfilled people in the world share one thing in common. They trust themselves. They listen to the quiet inner voice that tells them which path to take, even when it goes against conventional wisdom. They sense opportunities before they are obvious. They recognize danger before it becomes a crisis. They move toward things that feel right, even when others doubt them. This is not because they have special abilities. It is because they have learned to trust what was always within them. Reconnecting with your instincts requires practice. It starts with small decisions, paying attention to what excites you, noticing when something feels off, and honoring those feelings instead of dismissing them. Over time, the more you listen, the stronger your instincts become. They no longer feel like vague feelings, but clear guidance. You begin to trust that inner knowing more than the opinions of others. You make choices with confidence, not because you have all the answers, but because you understand that you already hold the wisdom you need. Life becomes easier when you learn to trust yourself. You no longer waste time doubting every decision. You do not need endless reassurance from others. You move forward with certainty, knowing that even if you do not have all the details, your instincts will guide you in the right direction. This does not mean you will never make mistakes. Every path comes with challenges. But even in mistakes, your instincts help you adjust, learn, and find your way forward. So the next time you feel something deep inside telling you what to do, listen. When something excites you, do not dismiss it as unrealistic. When something feels wrong, do not ignore it just because you cannot explain why. Your instincts already know. The question is whether you will trust them. There comes a moment when thinking, planning, and preparing are no longer enough. A moment when hesitation, doubt, and overanalysis become the enemies of progress. That moment is now. You must act. Many people spend their lives waiting for the perfect time, the perfect conditions, the perfect certainty before they move forward. They tell themselves they need more information, more confidence, or more reassurance from others before they take the first step. But the truth is, that moment never comes. There will never be a time when you feel 100% ready. There will never be a path completely free of obstacles. If you wait for perfection, you will wait forever. Action is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. Without it, dreams remain ideas, potential remains untapped, and time slips away. It is easy to convince yourself that thinking about something is the same as making progress, but it isn't. You can read every book, watch every tutorial, and analyze every possibility, but until you take real steps, nothing changes. Action is the only thing that turns thought into reality. One of the biggest reasons people hesitate to act is fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of making the wrong choice. But fear does not go away by avoiding action. In fact, the longer you wait, the stronger it becomes. The only way to overcome fear is to face it, to move despite it, to prove to yourself through experience that you are capable. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is acting in spite of it. Another excuse people use is that they do not know exactly what to do. They wait for clarity, believing that they need a perfect plan before they begin. But clarity comes from action, not the other way around. The path reveals itself as you move forward. Every step you take provides feedback. Every action leads to a new perspective, a new opportunity, a new lesson. You do not need to see the entire staircase to take the first step. The people who succeed in life are not always the smartest, the most talented, or the luckiest. They are the ones who take action. They are the ones who start, who try, who fail and learn and try again. They are the ones who refuse to let fear, doubt, or uncertainty keep them frozen in place. The difference between those who achieve their goals and those who do not is not intelligence or potential, it is execution. Some people fear acting because they do not want to fail. But failure is not the opposite of success, it is part of it. No one who has ever accomplished anything significant did so without setbacks. Every failure teaches a lesson. Every mistake provides insight. The only true failure is never trying at all. Inaction guarantees nothing changes, while action, no matter the outcome, always moves you forward. It is important to understand that action does not have to be drastic. It does not require a massive leap into the unknown. Small steps count. One email, one conversation, one decision, one risk. These are the things that build momentum. Progress compounds. What starts as a single action turns into a habit, and habits turn into transformation. There is also a cost to inaction. Every day spent hesitating is a day lost. Every opportunity left unpursued is a door that may never open again. Regret does not come from trying and failing. It comes from knowing you could have acted but chose not to. The pain of wondering what if is far greater than the discomfort of taking a risk. So what is stopping you? Fear, doubt, perfectionism? None of these things disappear by waiting. They only lose power when you act in spite of them. The world does not reward those who hesitate indefinitely. It rewards those who take risks, who show up, who do the work,